First thing you must know this: Joe Biden has been being told by people that he's old, and they've decided to own it and make jokes about it.
Someone said, that Biden, he's getting old, man. I tell you what.
That was me.
Well, guess what? The only thing that comes with age is a little bit of wisdom. I've been doing this longer than anybody, and guess what? I'm going to continue to do it with your help.
And that's the thing, that guess what, that rhetorical crutch that he uses all the time, and then he usually follows with a whisper, "It's working," or whatever. I've been watching this video, but I've never heard it like this. But he pops that very clever joke, that rhetorical trick of guess what, and then please somebody, they've done studies, it's settled science. Don't question the science on this. When someone says, guess what, the correct answer is, and I say this because hopefully there's kids in the car, the correct answer is monkey butt. And that's that. Let's try it.
Someone said, that Biden, he's getting old, man. I tell you what. Well, guess what?
Monkey butt. Okay, there you go. There's two more coming up.
Guess what? The only thing that comes with age is a little bit of wisdom. I've been doing this longer than anybody, and guess what?
Monkey butt.
I'm going to continue to do it with your help.
I'm sorry if I stepped on you by saying it, if you shouted it out. But so this is being war gamed by the Democrats. The thing is, and they don't want Biden to do it, but they want everyone to know that Donald Trump is 3 years behind Biden. He's almost 81. Maybe he'll make it to 81, but they want to remind you of that.
There are many Americans, again, according to the polls, who think Joe Biden should not run again because he's simply too old.
But it's 3 years older than what's his name, your friend. He's 3 years older.
Yeah, she won't say Donald Trump to the BBC interviewer who got her so exorcised, her plastic face, all the Botox was shifting around. And at one point she was talking about how much she hates. He called her out on saying, "I want to punch out Trump." And she repeated it and said, well, I took an oath. She said, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And she raised her right hand like she's taking an oath. And then she formed a fist and did an air punch. And he was calling her out saying, well, aren't you engaging in the same behavior you're accusing of him by saying you want to punch him out? And she doubled down by saying, well, I want to punch him out. And then she was accused of being out of touch. And her reply to that was, no one says that.
When people accuse you, Nancy Pelosi, of being out of touch.
No, they don't. Look.
They do.
Well,
they do. So, what a comeback. So anyway, I was really surprised that I don't know. She might have fired her entire staff. The interview ended, almost a little bit after that. And he just said, hey, thanks for coming on Hard Talk on BBC. And her nose was out of joint. I mean, metaphorically, she was mad. She was mad that she was set up to be on a show where they ask actual hard questions, because they don't do that in the Bay Area to her. And they don't do that in general in California to Democrats. But
don't bother me with a question like that.
I mean, that's the San Francisco answer right there. Thing two.
Second thing.
Where in the world is Paul McCartney's Beatles Hamburg bass guitar? Did you hear about this over the weekend?
I'm surprised I haven't, actually. I love Paul McCartney.
Now this is the bass that he bought in 1962 in Hamburg when they were playing at the Cellar or whatever it was.
Hofner bass.
A German bass guitar. He bought it for £70, which was a lot of money back then for the four kids from Liverpool. But that's what they made like per week. But he bought this bass, and then they recorded a whole bunch of Beatles music, famous music on it. And then one day they're filming Let It Be, and the bass disappeared. Now I thought, I haven't seen that thing. Aren't there like 12 hours of video of it? Candy, at some point, someone walks away with a bass and they never brought it back.
Peter Jackson made a must-see documentary about that, updated the footage, made it crystal clear. But yeah, you're right. The Lost Bass Project is appealing for information about what it describes as the most important bass in history.
I got to say, pretty good argument for that being valid.
In terms of pop music, for sure.
Ticket to Ride. I mean, you name it. Every first 4 Beatles albums, Help, Meet the Beatles, all that. That was the bass that he used.
Please Please Me, Revolver, Sgt.
Everything.
Peppers.
And I'm
the
trying to think
White
of like the
Album.
most bass prominent Beatles song to play as an example, and my example is going to be "Whole Lot of Love." That turns out to be a Led Zeppelin reference and all that. But somewhere someone can probably suggest a Beatles tune that
I'll
is.
say Taxman is up there.
Oh yeah.
Three.
Wait for it.
1, 2.
Let me tell you how it will be.
Yep, start making a little bit of money, and you
Do-do-do-do-do.
caterwaul against your socialist state, don't you? Don't you? 3 future Americans.
One for you, 19 for me.
Yeah, it's so great. Ringo, John Lennon.
Who else was in that band?
I'm trying to think how many wound up as Americans. Ringo's an American. Lennon became an American. Neil Diamond wrote the song "Coming to America." They come to America about that, but not McCartney. I don't believe. I do not believe.
I'm sure he has a place here, but
Thing 3.
Third thing.
I don't know whether the Bremerton Knights won on Friday night or not, but if they didn't win, they can blame God because Coach Kennedy is back coaching, back praying after the game, because the Supreme Court says that you're allowed to do that, as if they get to be the arbiters. But when it comes to like his employment, they said he was improperly terminated, and here he is.
Man, what an awesome evening. I feel like we have fought the good fight, and we finished this race, and we kept the faith the whole entire time, and it was absolutely 100% worth it. There is nothing better than America and the Constitution, and it just proves that it is alive and well. It's not just for 1 or 2 people, it's for everyone. And I'm so blessed to be here and be with you guys.
So sounds like they won.
for the uninitiated, he was quoting St. Paul at the beginning of that audio clip.
About the Knights' new wing T offense?
Fighting the good fight, finishing the race.
Why that's not a what's his name? Kirk
Cameron?
Kirk Cameron movie by now, I don't know, but
It's in the works.
I believe it has to be in the works because I'm seeing Jim Caviezel somewhere involved in this. All the people that Hollywood has exiled for being conservative or expressing their faith. I see Chris Pratt. How about Chris Pratt, Star-Lord as him? But that's gonna be a movie, and it needs a really good ending, unlike the San Francisco movie. All right, thing 3 already?
Fourth thing.
4, look at me. Joe and Jennifer Montana. This is the final scene of your Death of San Francisco movie. Joe and Jennifer Montana. Maybe you've heard of him, Joe Montana. Probably one of the most revered Bay Area personages ever. They're among the people suing San Francisco, alleging that city departments did nothing to prevent, quote, torrents of water and untreated sewage from flooding their homes. Absolutely. Well, that was a problem. Is that in San Francisco, the water runoff and the sewage are in the same pipe system. The sewage is so backed up with homeless poo that you might remember this 11 years ago. A lot of people have been wondering why so many escalators going down beneath the streets to the BART subway system have been out of service. It's because of poop. The answer was poop. Lots of the San Francisco Chronicle said that when a repair team opened up one broken escalator in June, they discovered such a large treasure trove of human feces that they had to call in a hazmat team to handle the situation. That was 11 years. But you talk about a canary in the coal mine. If that's your canary in the coal mine 11 years ago, maybe you got a problem. And 11 years later, the guy who could be mayor for life of San Francisco is suing the city that made his fortune for not taking care of the sewage and
The duty.
the specific, not doing their duty. And the specific problem, by the way, is that they're all opioid addicts. And talk to any doctor about that. Opioid addicts, a side effect is constipation. And at some point, constipation's got to come out. And it doesn't want to go. Once it's out, it doesn't want to go anywhere.
Here's to feeling good all the time.
So anyway, Joe Montana suing San Francisco for a, quote, toxic fecal matter in home. So there you go.
Forbidden essences.
There you go. And scene. The death of San Francisco right there. That would be my wacky final scene before we roll the gag reel, the outtakes and stuff.